What up, y'all? I'm back. This is my Golden Girls poster. So, you're probably like, wow, it's really dark in there. Yeah, it's either going to be dark or there's a glare and there's just no middle ground. I'm waiting on my studio to get done for these videos. So, I'm going to have a really nice multi-million-dollar studio. I'm finishing up the next few weeks. So, these video quality will really improve a lot. So, next cycle is going to be 4 weeks from January 29th to February 24th, leading up to the CrossFit Open. CrossFit Open is going to be 3 weeks from February 29th to March 18th. So that means during this period of time, every Friday, I will not know what the workout is. It'll be totally randomized, and that's going to be for the Metcon specifically. There probably won't be a strength on Friday, and we'll give you more details about the Open and how all that's going to work soon. We have some really cool stuff in store, though. Now, as far as changes for our immediate cycle go, there's going to be some big changes, specifically with the strength. That's going to be the Monday, Wednesday, Friday A portion strength in class. We're going to be doing a weightlifting and skill on the minute segment. Whoa, that's going to be so fun. Everybody wants to do gymnastic skill stuff all the time, so this is when we're going to be doing it. So it'll be alternating, like sometimes it'll be overhead squat with like chest to bar. Sometimes it's going to be like deadlift with bar muscle up, things like that. It'll be variations, by the way, on these, okay? Metcons are going to be gnarly. Not going to lie. They're going to be hard. They're going to be kind of tough couplets. I mean, pretty similar to how we program all the time, or I program all the time. But you're going to notice a lot more things like thrusters and burpees, which is not going to be the most fun. But you'll get really fit. You're going to be shredded. It's going to be sick. Rebuild. Going to be rotational and rehab based. So we're going to bring back some of the rotational stuff that we've did before. This is really going to be to kind of counteract some of the stuff going on these days, because these are going to be pretty gnarly and a lot of like bilateral, like pulling, pushing, hinging, squatting. So this will give us an opportunity to kind of do some feel good movements on the other days. XT is going to be extremely similar to the previous cycle, kind of like what I call assistant strength. So like overhead squat, 4x6, things like that. Rep schemes will vary a bit perhaps. But that's going to be basically the same because of the high neural drive. Ooh, big words. So essentially, this is going to be the Monday, Wednesday, Friday strength portion is going to be very high neural drive, meaning low repetition, high weight, lots of focus. Because we are game day prepping, we are sharpening the saw for our prep here. For XT people, you're just going to get stronger. That's great. The XT people, by the way, you're going to be very familiar with the structure of this. It's going to be very similar to what you did, but it's going to be on the minute rather than just kind of like get the sets in between the other sets of things. And again, high repetition, or again, it's going to be high weight, low repetition, high neural drive. Okay. The Metcons are going to be all strategy based. I would say like the focus would be on strategy, on how do I do my burpees over the bar? What is the most efficient way to get up and over a box with a dumbbell in my hand? Things like that. To get the most out of it, that's what you're going to want to do, is utilize that time period every day to strategize and find the best methods for you. Rebuild going to be pretty similar. We are going to be putting more of an emphasis on reps in reserve. We are going to bring back some tempo type stuff, again, for the sake of like making us feel good. And then the XT, I'm going to add in some ranges. So rather than just the reps in reserve, I'm also going to provide some percentage ranges because people asked for a lot of that this time around. Okay. Now, to get the most out of this strength portion every day, you're going to want to put a lot of focus and emphasis during the exercise you're doing. Do not just go through the motions in this. Not like you would do that or ever do that. But in order to get the most out of it, you're going to have to really bring it every single repetition to get the most out of it. If you're just kind of pulling a snatch heavy single, or you're just kind of like lifting a lightweight, not really sure, it needs to be focused. Rather, even if it's not heavy, it doesn't matter if it's heavy. It matters that you put a lot of intensity and focus, and you're picking difficult variations, but that are doable. So doable but difficult variations to allow you to progress. Most of the Open for most people comes down to like gymnastic skill movements, right? So a lot of times in the Open, it's not about like, oh, the weight's too heavy for me to lift. It's almost always, I can't do a bar muscle up. I can't do a ring muscle up. I can't do a handstand push up. That's really what it comes down to most of the time. So then that allows us during this portion to practice that while also working on like, how do I do a full snatch? Because a lot of times we do see movements like, oh, you're going to have to do overhead squats at a lower depth than maybe you're usually used to. So, long story short, in order to get the most out of your training for the next month, it's going to be really trying to progress your skill levels and really try to sharpen up your movements and make them look crisp and clean and feel good. Sound good? Next time I talk to you guys, I'm going to be in my nice new multiple $1,000,000 studio, and I won't be in the dark in my office in my tiny condo.